Hello there. I was originally planning to record this with my own voice, but there was never a good time for it, so I figured I'll just go back to this. So, 2022. Where the fuck do I even start? Just like every year before, it seems like I'm going through higher highs and lower lows. This time, I'm splitting the video into 3 distinct sections: lows, highs, and the future. Let's get the negativity out of the way first. For this section, I originally went on a massive unhinged rant about PayPal and Indonesia, but for the sake of both our times, to save the ears of everyone else who I'd already ranted to, and because of a new law that has just passed, I will be simplifying this rant down as much as I can. First of all, Indonesian user data is not practically as good as public. Essentially, our Communication and Information Ministry decided it was a good idea to threaten literally every service in existence, no matter the size, origin, or category, to give up all Indonesian user data, unless they want their service banned in Indonesia. That alone, while it still would be pretty sus, is not what makes it so bad. It's the fact that this information can be requested at any time without a legal reason, as long as it is for, quote-unquote, surveillance. The fact that there was already a massive leak of Indonesian data earlier this year does not bode well. Secondly, still somewhat part of the previous part, we've become China too. In the same law that threatened to ban websites for not giving up data, they are now also allowed to ban any content which breaks, quote-unquote, dire criteria. These criteria are not elaborated upon, so it is very vague. Recently, they've also banned, quote-unquote, insulting the government, so, for my safety and your time, I'll stop this part of the rant right here. Anyways, in the middle of all this going down, PayPal decided it was a good idea to limit my account, after I sent in a request to fix my middle name, which I had to do because of a problem between them and my bank that they didn't even tell me about, even after I was charged for having the transaction denied. PayPal essentially claimed that I was underage during the time I sent in the request to fix my name, which to this day still fucking confuses me, because my birthday is on the 13th of March 2004, and I sent in the request and got limited in the 24th of August 2022. You guys do the math. After I gave up trying to contact them literally everywhere else, because 90% of their support team is practically useless and is only tasked with redirecting you to the call center, I finally bit the $5 in fees just to call them. They quickly admitted this was a mistake and reverted it. However, for some fucking gigabrain reason, they decided to turn that 180 into a 360. Less than 24 hours later, my account was permanently limited. This time, they claimed that I was underage when I made the account, despite the fact that they let me create the account late into my 18th birthday, when it should already be March 13th for most time zones. While the people in the support team all believe this was a mistake as well, everyone else in the company seems to be doubling, tripling down on this, so my I'm sorry my $15 is gone now and my bank account is forever shadow banned. Oh, I'm not going to bother making another PayPal account, even though they made it very clear I'm in the green to do so. Maybe I will just for Bandcamp, since their only option for payouts is PayPal, but even then, I'm still waiting for an alternative like, say, Stripe, to come along and finally operate in Indonesia. At the moment, oh, I do have a buy me a coffee. Oh, right now I'm still in the process of testing if it actually works or not. My account is still under review for my first payment, so fingers crossed that they can actually transfer to my bank once that's done. Anyways, putting all the things outside of my control aside, I'd just generally say that I've been struggling with the Dunning-Kruger effect finally setting in. Hooray. Nowadays, I worry so much more about improving. Never have I been filled with so many ideas for projects, but also so much pessimism, not just in whether I'll see them through to the end, but but also in keeping myself in check. I keep telling myself that I am not ready to take on those projects, that I need to keep on studying. I need to shoot for masterpiece, save the ideas for when I'm good, etc. Because of all that, I end up putting things off again and again, waiting for the opportunity and never taking the initiative to do something. I've been trying to cope by reinforcing the mentality of, gotta do something to get good, but I'd be lying if I were to say that this method is flawless. I ended up making a lot of things this year that I can't find any pride in, even if technically they did help me make progress in showing me what I don't want in my creations. It really should have been obvious all this time, but I still ended up loathing myself, because I can't chalk my flaws up to being a beginner anymore. All of that utterly drains me, but I digress. Because creating is what I love doing most. The process is what I live for. It's funny and fulfilling unlike anything else I've ever experienced, and I would never give it up for anything else. I think this is a good segue to start talking about the highs. My output this year has been monstrous in comparison to every year before it, however most of that is focused towards my digital art. I've put some attention in my music and videos as well every now and then, but digital art was still my main focus of the year. I've also been exploring a lot more, having been commissioned as a digital marketer for a brief period, and now being in talks with my parents to run a store for them. So, moving on, what's next? Well, for YouTube, I've decided to commit to an experiment, the monthly project. This whole year I've been studying YouTubers I liked watching, picking out things I liked, what worked, and all that. I've been doing this on and off in the backgrounds of other projects this year, and I swore to myself that next year I will not only put this into practice, but also start making more consistent content. I picked monthly because I'm still going to be working on my other projects. I still want a fair share of my attention to be put on my music, art, and Pokémon Libertas, which I'll get into later, and I don't think it's worth it to put all my eggs into one basket considering I haven't fully figured out my limits and skill sets. I'm a little nervous about this, not because I haven't done it, but because I have, just for something else. This year I decided to make weekly art and monthly art raffles on top of that. The regular deadline began to create unnecessary amounts of stress around the midpoint of the year. A lot of the pieces came out either decent or really good. But of course, thanks to negativity bias, the few of them that didn't meet my expectations left a pretty bad aftertaste as I mentioned earlier. A lot of the weekly pieces also ended up getting scrapped midway, and in particularly bad weeks I just missed the deadline entirely. But overall, I would say that it worked, and I'm more confident in my art now than ever before. So, the anxiety doesn't come from uncertainty, but rather jumping back to step 1 and anticipating that gradually increasing challenge as time goes on and motivation runs low. The fact that I don't even know what video to make for the majority of the year doesn't help. That's why I'm going to take it much easier next year. I'll properly devote time into this experiment without taking in too much at once. I'm gonna stop doing monthly raffles and weekly art, and just make art whenever I feel like it, or whenever I'm commissioned to do so. Next up, let's talk about my current main project, Pokémon Libertas. At the moment, it's in a relatively playable state, though its still lengths far from finished. I have a demo up along with a pretty primitive Discord server over here. So, if you're looking for an open world Pokémon game where the gyms do actually scale with you, the game's there. I'm not going to release the game to the full public just yet to avoid attention. I don't want to take a chance at Nintendo noticing this game and taking it down before I finish it. So, when will the game be finished? I have no real clue. If you really want me to throw a number out, probably in around a year or two, but That's if everything goes super smoothly. Technically, the game is pretty close to being finished, with 8 gyms being fully implemented out of 10. However, that's a little deceiving. I'm planning to do as much as I can for the league and post-game, and I'm also planning to polish up the entire game while finishing it. Everything from content to visuals. I'm still figuring out what content I need or want to put in the game, both for post-game and during the main game. My only plans for the post-game is a small and pretty bare-bones battle frontier and some post-game quests you can take on. I know the battle frontier is probably more than enough for most of you, but this will probably be my only Pokemon game, so I'm trying out everything I can. Either way, I'll put up some updates when it's close to being finished, so stay tuned. My last topic for today is music. I've been thinking of making another album for a while, but I haven't fully realized what ideas and concepts I want to put into an album until very recently. My next album is currently named Walls and Valleys, and it's still in its early stages. I'm planning to take my sweet time with it, so it might be a while until it's released. Oh, I have published 2 songs from it, those being Simple Surge and Week After Week. Both of which you can listen to up there. That's about it for this video. Again, I want to thank those of you who stick around with me. It means a lot to me and I hope to keep entertaining you all until I can't anymore. While I look forward to 2023 with a little uncertainty with all the things happening around me, I also can't help but look forward with a whole lot of determination. I just hope I can live through to the end of it and come out a little better than how I went in. Anyways, that's all. Happy holidays, happy New Year's, and see you all in the next video, whatever that might be. Oh, but before I leave I also wanna mention one thing for the record. You know this video? Here, I made that. Here is the receipt. The original tweet, or I guess the original reply. Whatever, the original source of the edit. Look at that date. March 1st, 2022. So, if you have seen this video, then just know, it was me all along. Alright, that is all. See ya.